Welcome to episode 7 of our SWOOP Hack series, where we show you some easy tips, tricks, and shortcuts to finding the information you're looking for on your SWOOP dashboard. Now, did you know that you have the ability to export data in SWOOP to complete your own layer of analysis? You may have noticed the download feature in the top right-hand corner of all of the widgets in your dashboard, but we're now allowing you to take that to the next level by providing you with some more downloadable insights. Before we get started on the tutorial, I just wanted to flag that this feature is only available to SWOOP admins. But you'll see today I'm actually joined by Cai, who is SWOOP CEO and co-founder, and Cai is going to help demonstrate how this new data export feature actually works and how you can get the most out of it. So Cai, first of all, where can users find the data export feature in the dashboard?
Let me show you. So I'm sharing my screen, and what you do, you head off to the admin area of SWOOP, and you click on admin. And as Emily is saying, you have to be an admin to do this. And then you click on data export, and under data export, you scroll down, and then it's the last option you'll find, and it'll say export raw data.
Excellent. And what are some of the things that users could actually use these data exports for?
One of the things we've been asked about a number of times is the ability for people to do their own analysis. And it could be that you have a very particular question you've been asked or very particular job, and we haven't got that insight in SWOOP. So the ability, we introduce this for you to download all the raw data that we have stored and we do the analysis on, and then you can come up and basically come up with your own calculations. So that's the key reason why we did it. Okay,
and could you maybe talk through what pops up when we download these files? So I know that there's two separate exports. There's one that's called people and one that's called relationships. Could you maybe just chat through what you'll actually find in these exports?
Absolutely. All you do, you just hit the raw export button, and depending on how big the data set is, either you'll get a zip file with the two files, or you'll have the two files downloading at the same time. But you end up with two CSV files, and I've got two of them opened up here in Excel. There is a people file, as you correctly pointed out, and then there's a relationships file. If we start with the people file, it's split up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different columns. But depending on what data you have made available to SWOOP, then there can be several other user attribute files. The relationships file, that's the one over here. And that one has got this is basically where all the detail sits over here. So first, this one here, for instance, say it's a reply, and it's a reply from this user ID to that user ID. Every message will have a unique stamp, okay, unique ID number, and that's the message number. What message we reply to, the ID of the thread, whether that message includes a question, even the length of the message in characters, the group ID that it was posted to, whether that was a public or private message, and that sort of really follows from the ID, the privacy setting of the group, and then the date stamp. And the date stamp here. And with this data, there is a ton of interesting things you can do with this. And it all depends on, I guess, your imagination. And then, of course, the particular question you're trying to solve. So let's say I want to find out the average length of a post versus that reply. I hit the select all button, and then I use what's called a pivot table in Excel. So I'm just going to hit that little box up here. On Excel for Windows, the button might be under a different heading or something like that. So again, just find a tutorial on the internet, but here on the Mac, it sits up here. So I'm just going to click on the pivot table and just click on OK. And then a pivot table gives you the ability to drag and drop and aggregate data really quick. So I'll show you what I mean. Over here on the right-hand side, that's where you do all the dragging and dropping. And everything that was in that all the column headings that I showed you before over that the relationship file, they are listed up here. So I want to find out, I think we wanted to have a look at the type. So I put the type down here in rows, and you can see the different likes, mention, post replies, they come up here. And I probably really only want to have a look at the post and the replies, because it's the only two we have a character count against anyway. And then I just want to count the average message length. So I take the message length and I just put that over here under values. But let's have a look at the average count. So I just go in and click on that little information icon over here, and then I determine how the message length is calculated. And let's say I just want to use the average instead of the sum. Click on OK. And now we can see that the post is a lot longer than the reply. So 603 characters versus 169.
So in these two exports, of course, there is a lot of data to look at. So I was wondering if there's a way that you can bring those two data sets together to give you some further insight. So for example, if I wanted to find out exactly how much one department is talking to another department on my preferred collaboration platform.
Oh, now you're challenging me. Now I have to use both files. So let me bring the other one back again. The other Excel file I had over here. This is the one with the people, and I think you could do this in two separate files. But I'm just gonna so I have it all in one file. I'm just gonna take that people tab over here, and can you see I'm just clicking, holding it, and I'm dragging it. I'm gonna drag it down here so it's next to my relationships. So now I have all the list of all the people, and I have all the relationships over here. And now that challenge you just gave me, how do I find out how one department talks to another? That means I have to aggregate all the interactions by these different people. So I'm going to insert a couple of columns here, and I'm going to try and use this other Excel feature about VLOOKUPs to find out where they're working. So I'm just going to say from department over here, and then to department over here. So I'm basically going to replicate these two columns over here, but I need to find out what department this person is from and one department that person is from. You can do that manually, right? But if you've got lots of data here, this will take you absolutely forever. So we're going to find an Excel feature that can do the hard work for us, and it's called VLOOKUP. This is what it looks like. You go in and say equals VLOOKUP. Let me just pause here and say, lots of tutorials on the internet of this. If I'm moving too fast, just try and search it for it, VLOOKUP and how they work. So VLOOKUP, and then an open bracket. I'm going to point it to that ID I want to look up. I'm putting in a comma, and then I'm pointing over to that people worksheet. And I'm going to count. I'm going to highlight the whole column because I want to look at all the way down. VLOOKUP that one, comma, over on the people over here, highlight the column, and then I'm going to keep on going, highlighting 2, 3, 4 until I know I've got the department in that area that I have highlighted here. And then I'm going to put in another comma and then say I wanted the value in the fifth column once we found the ID number. So I go comma 5, comma 0. When you hit return, be amazed. Can you see here? It's just looked up. It's customer success. So instead of me doing this manually, I've got it done it for one, and even more magic. I double click in the corner, and then boom, it's done it for all of them, right? And I just do that again over here. Exactly the same over here. Highlight all of them. Go over there to number 5, comma 0. And now we found out that customer success has replied to someone in marketing, and I got all the way down here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do my little pivot table. Again, the one you saw me do before. Do a pivot table on this. Click on a new sheet. And if we can't find I just have to refresh my data to get the from department to department in here. I'll get my from department down here, drag that here, the to one over there. And then I want to find out how many messages that they've exchanged, and so I click on the message ID over there, And I don't want to do a sum. I just want to count how many times they've interacted with each other. And I do a count. And now suddenly I can see all the times, for instance, that customer success have had 129 times they have replied to business development. So this is a very easy way of aggregating the data. And as I said, the sky's your limit. Here are just two examples of what you can do using the raw data, and then a combination of VLOOKUP and pivot tables.
So it's super simple stuff, but it's extremely interesting. And I was just wondering if there are any limits to the data as well.
Yes, so there's no limit in terms of what we have in SWOOP. It's all stored there. Like I think we go up to, depending on the collaboration platform, we go either it's a 12 or 24 months or back in time. So that's all there. Excel though, once you export it into Excel, the Excel file will include everything, but Excel itself can only open a file that has just over 1 million rows in it.
And thank you so much, Cai, for demonstrating this new data export feature that we have. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching.